Today at the Chicago Auto Show is the first time I was able to actually see the new Sportage in person. As you recall, for the first look video, a friend of mine, Case from TFL Car, he was the one that was actually on site looking at it. This is my first take with the product. First, let's take a look around the outside, then we'll dive under the hood and then dive on the inside. The first thing you'll notice is that this design is a definite departure from pretty much everything else that Kia has done before. This is a version of their Tiger Nose grille, they say. We still have a little sort of dip in there and a dip in there on the hood, but the rest of it is definitely very, very different. Let me know what you think about the look. I have to say, I like the look of the Telluride a bit more than the look here on the Sportage. We have the tri-bar sort of turn signal lamp there. Definite lots of accent lighting. Headlights more or less where you'd expect them to be in the front end. And then down here at the bottom, very well integrated sleek LEDs, parking sensors right there, and of course right there in the bumper as well. As with the relatively closely related Hyundai Tucson, the Sportage has grown in this generation. The Sportage used to be really on the small side of the segment, and now it is towards the larger end. And a lot of that has paid dividends to rear seat passenger room and of course cargo room in the rear. This has a slightly less controversial design than the new Kia Niro, but you can see a little bit of similar design cues with this sort of textured, different colored section right here across the side. Depending on the trim level you get, these accents could be black or they could be satin chrome. The rear end is definitely a very swooping and sleek design. One interesting touch, Kia has been really aggressive at deploying matte paint jobs, which were formerly exclusively only found on very expensive luxury vehicles to more mainstream models. You can get this matte paint job not just on the Sportage, but also the EV6 and other models coming soon. Behind this power hatch, we find tons of cargo room. Again, this has gone from one of the smaller entries to one of the larger entries in the segment. Then we have additional storage space under the load floor. And if I pull this out, this particular model is the plug-in hybrid, and that's why we find this little module here. That's the onboard 7.2 kilowatt charger. I have to say that I think Kia could have arranged things a little bit more, precisely, under there, and possibly given us room for a spare tire, but we do have some additional storage. If I move over to the hybrid without the plug, that is this blue model right here, you can see where some of those drivetrain electronics have been migrated to. This one does have a spare tire, and it has a load floor that adjusts in two different heights. Under the hood, we find the same 1.6-liter turbocharged hybrid system that we find in a wide variety of Kia and Hyundai models. Power outputs vary depending on whether you get the plug or not. If you get the plug, there's a bit more power to help compensate for the added weight of the battery pack. Another big thing to know is that the Sportage has a mechanical all-wheel drive system if you get the hybrid system, and that is very different than, for instance, a Toyota RAV4, which uses an electric motor in the rear. If you're looking for high fuel economy and excellent all-weather performance, you might want to take a look at this, because all-weather performance, especially in snow, sleet, ice, etc., it's going to be much more predictable in the Sportage. On the inside, we have a number of design cues borrowed from existing Kia models and some from the latest vehicles in the lineup, like the EV6. The seat and door design is pretty conventional. The dashboard design reminds me a little bit of the larger Sorento. But then this dashboard is definitely EV6 as well, because we have this large two-screen infotainment setup. This is a really, really elegant design, and we have so much more screen real estate in this than even in the large Kia Telluride. It really gives you an idea of what we should expect when that model gets a complete redesign. Down here we have the same sort of touchscreen bank that we find in the EV6. They're physical knobs that change in function based on exactly what is displayed on that screen, whether it's climate control or infotainment. We then have a Qi wireless charging mat. Same sort of push button and rotary shifter design that we find in the EV6 as well. Drive mode selectors, optional heated and ventilated seats. This one doesn't have the ventilated functionality. Two big cup holders there. Lots of room there in the center console as well. And one of Kia's latest steering wheel designs. This is a bit more conventional than the one that we find in the EV6. It has paddles on the back, sport grips up top, and it kind of reminds me of the steering wheel we find in the Stinger. If you want to get your hands on the new Sportage, these should be on dealer lots very, very soon. And I have to say, this is going to be a very competitive entry in a very competitive segment. Whether you want a regular engine under the hood, whether you want a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid, Kia has one of everything for you, as long as you're a fan of the more controversial design language that we find in here versus some of Kia's other products. Kia went through a phase where they were doing imitation designs, and then they went through a phase where they decided to be very elegant, and now they've decided to really do their own thing, march to their own drummer, and have much more dramatic and energetic designs. I really want to know what you think about this down there in the comments section. Again, like we see in other Kia hybrid vehicles and plug-in hybrid vehicles, they're also really focusing on all-weather performance with that mechanical all-wheel drive system. And again, that's very different than something like that RAV4 Prime. Aside from the fact that Kia's just being aggressive with hybrids and plug-in hybrids, period, because not every entry in this segment offers all of those choices. Let me know what you think about that, and of course, stay tuned for my full drive review coming soon. I'll see all of you later.